Okay, today we're going to be talking about color theory. And welcome to Kimcast Art. Got some good lighting here, hopefully. Well, you can still see some shadows here from something. I'm not sure what, but let's look at the color theory here. I've got a chart here. You can download one of these just about anywhere. And let's see if we can get a little bit closer up here. And we're going to be talking about this a little bit first before we go too far into it here. And first we're going to talk about primary colors. Probably learned a lot about this in school. Maybe you remember, maybe you don't, I'm not sure. But there's only 3 primary colors. And what are primary colors? Primary colors are 3 pigment colors that cannot be mixed or formed by any combination of any other color. And all other colors are derived from those 3 colors: yellow, red, and blue. So we'll discuss mixing those here in a minute. And you'll see them on the chart right here. The primary colors are right here in the middle: yellow, blue, and red. Those 3 right there. Okay, then we go to the secondary colors, which would be orange, green, and violet. So if you come back out here, orange, green, and violet. And then we come to a name that I don't even usually say it, but tertiary colors, The tertiary colors, these are the colors formed by mixing primary and secondary colors. These here. And that's why the hue is 2 different word names, such as blue, green, red, violet, yellow, orange. You see that right here, like here it is, tertiary, yellow, green. I can't even pronounce it. Tertiary, red and orange. And then we've got the red and violet, and blue and violet. And we got a yellow and orange up here. So, those are what those are. And then we have what's called analogous colors. They sit next to one another on the color wheel. These colors are in harmony with one another. So, those would be right beside each other on the wheel of the main color. Even though this is a tertiary, but they're still considered analogous. Then we go to a neutral color. Neutral colors are white, gray, and black. Those are neutral. Now when we talk about tint, we're actually talking about any color that you add white to. That's a tint. A tone is whatever you add gray to. And a shade is when you add black. Monochromatic is any one color that's used in various shades or tints. Like the painting I did of the winter scene that was all blue. Pretty much all blue and white. That would have been considered monochromatic. So, let's go ahead and get started here. We'll move this. And we're going to put some right on our palette. And we'll do the 3 primary colors. And we'll see what we can do. So we've got some yellow. We'll put that out of the way. And we've got some red. Right here. And I'm using for this demonstration cobalt blue, but Prussian blue would work. Phthalo blue, that's probably not good for this demonstration, but because it's more on the green side. But we use cobalt blue. So let's say we want to make the secondary colors. I'm going to go ahead and put some white up here. Not much, just a little bit. And then some black. so we can do our tints and shades. Okay, so our first thing is we've got our primary colors, and say we want orange. So if we want orange, we got to mix yellow and red. Now the amounts you're going to have to learn yourself. You're going to have to experiment with it some. So if we just take, I'll take the yellow first, and we'll put some here, we'll grab just a tiny bit of red, and we'll mix it in. And then we've got yellow. And I got to move that back so you see what I'm doing. There we go. So we've got, I use just a tiny bit of red and with a little bit more yellow. Okay, so we've got orange. Okay, there's our first secondary color. Okay, now we'll clean our brush off, just using water, and we'll go to violet. Blue and red make violet. So we'll just take, say, some red, put it here, excuse me, and we'll take a little bit of blue and mix it in. Now, if you see it's too dark, then you know, excuse me, you're going to need the lighter of the two colors to make the difference. So if you see here, it looks almost black, but it is a dark violet. So let's take a little bit more red and add it to it and see what happens. So here we come in with a little bit more red, and then we get a lot more of a lighter violet. And from here, that's where you'd use a little bit of white if you wanted to get a lighter shade. So let's just go ahead and do it. We'll just put a little bit of white in there. And it doesn't take very much. And then we get, well, you can hardly tell the difference there, but you can tell if you can see it close that it's a bit lighter. We'll take a little bit more white and make it even lighter. Now I'm saving half of it for a reason. So we got quite a bit more white there, but you see we got a lot lighter violet right there too. So we'll clean our brush off. And then you can tint it. Take a little bit of black and darken it even more than the other one. When you need a little bit more black. So you can see, didn't have enough black. But that's why, you know, mixing uses a little bit of time until you get used to it. You see that's a bit stronger black in there. You can tell, but it's pretty close to the original one. But you can tell there's black in there, which would be good for something for shading. Okay, let's go to green. So green is the secondary color. So let's take green, says yellow and blue. So we'll take first more yellow. I'm just doing this from experience. Then we'll grab a little bit of blue. And what we come up with is green. So let's put some green here. And that's a lot lighter green right there. That's almost a lime green. What happens if we put some more blue in it? Let's add some more blue and see what happens. Now you'll see we're getting closer to that to tertiary color, which is a darker green. Probably pretty close to a sap green. But sap green actually has a little bit of black in it, I think. If you want to make some sap green, you could just add a little bit of black to it. Very tiny bit. little bit at a time. And if you really look at sap green, it's not a really shiny green. It's a little bit of a duller green, but you can see the difference here. Right there. That's more of a sap green. And you can also do the same thing with, if you want to lighten it up a little bit. Take a little bit of white on this lighter one. Just like that. And you can get a lot lighter green right here. Just a little bit of white, that's all it took. And go down, up and down on different shades or tones. Okay, so let's look at the tertiary colors. Okay, so if we want to make, say, this darker green, we were already here. We did that one already, basically. If we want to use the purple, we're really using purple and blue. And we basically did that. But we'll give it a little bit more blue here. And that's pretty dark right there, so we know that's going to be dark. We'll grab some red and put it in here. And as you can see, I'm showing it's leaning toward a reddish color. When it leans to the other color too much, that means you know you need to get some more of that other color. So I need a little bit more blue. Like so. So that's a pretty good purple right there. It's pretty much different than that. It's pretty close to that one. But there's a purple right there. And that's a tertiary. I can't even pronounce it. I really can't. Blue violet. That's what it really is. A blue violet. So it's leaning toward the bluer side. Now you can do the same thing with the red. Red and violet. So if we add more red over here, and probably put a bit more blue in there. And now this would be normally a lot lighter, so we probably put a bit of white in that. And it's not really as purple as I want it to be, but maybe we need some more red. Let's try that. And we're getting close. We still need some more red. But it leans more toward the red side of violet, which would be right here. Now, this color chart shows it a lot lighter. Maybe if you really want to get that light, you could add a little bit of white to it and lighten it up some more. You can do that in shades until you get where you want it to be. So it's not quite enough there. The more white. It's not quite as violetly as I like it to be. It may need a little bit more blue or something in it. You just mix them colors until you get to where you want it to be. See, we're almost the same as what's up here. We're already in that area. And the same with the orange. The orange, we just need to be darker. We got orange here. Then we would have added a bit more red. And this would have been a darker orange right here. Just like that. Okay. And then all you got to do is remember to experiment with taking them same colors and tone it down a little bit. So you add a little bit of black to it. Just a tiny little bit. Excuse me. And then you could get that darker orange. Like that. You know, and even though you've darkened it, you can still actually lighten back up a little bit if you wanted to. Add a little bit of white to it. And then you get a different orange. And that's actually almost a fleshy orange. In fact, one of the flesh colors is orange and white. So experiment with that. I'm not going to make this a real long video, so I hope you enjoyed this. Make sure you practice it, and then you can really learn from this experience. Let me pull this in. You can see the colors a little bit better and have a good look at it. And have a good day, and thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like, and all that good stuff. And don't forget, we do have a Patreon. It's only $1 a month, and I definitely appreciate anybody that donates to that. And have a good day, and stay tuned for our next mixing class. That's going to be on only flesh tones. So anyway, have a good day.